going through the jail, I really do admire the county sheriff's department and the people who are staffing that facility. That is one tough job. And part of the reason that we need a new facility is for the safety both of the inmates and of the staff that work in that facility. We have, unfortunately, a very outmoded jail in the current facility. I was talking earlier about how, in a sense, the jail ends up being a dumping ground for a lot of society's problems. It's not, unfortunately, it's not just criminals per se that are there. There are people with other underlying problems that are really the most significant problem. Big issue for me for years is the mental health system in California. It's a terrible, terrible system, and it's been in crisis for 40 years. And it's an expensive problem to solve, and it's a problem that the state legislature has refused to face up to because it is expensive and it's difficult. And the constituency for mental health reform, those people don't vote, and they have to help people make sure that they don't end up back in those cells a couple of years later. Another thing that I've heard is, we don't need any more taxes, and I'm certainly one who generally agrees with that philosophy, but if you're going to have a tax, the best kind of tax to have is a local tax. This is a tax that will be completely under our control. It's dedicated to a single purpose. This is not money that just vanishes to Sacramento or to Washington, D.C. and gets used for whatever to buy somebody else's vote. This is money that will be dedicated to one of the absolutely most important issues facing the people in this city and in the county. It's very discouraging to me that a lot of what we call sort of quality of life offenses, drunk in public or fighting, or things that have a really bad, terrible effect on our community, those people face essentially no consequences because we have a jail that is full of much more serious felons. We need enough room in our jail that people who are guilty of creating public nuisances can spend some time there. So I can't think of any other single purpose before the county right now that could have a greater improving impact both on the lives of the law-abiding citizens of Santa Barbara, as well as on those people in the prison system now who could be salvaged. And that's why I will do my best to convince people that this is a worthwhile cause, this is worth voting for. This is not tax money that's going to be wasted. This is money that's going to be used wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
Well, I just wanted to stand in strong agreement with Councilmember Francisco and Mayor Schneider, and thank them for bringing this to the council, and thank the sheriff for having the courage to really tackle a project that people have been talking about for a long time, but obviously takes a tremendous amount of organizing to bring together the folks who are going to be able to pass something of this magnitude. I guess I speak from the perspective of someone who has had a lot of people try in my family, part of the triage of the system. My mother is a teacher at Atascadero State, and she teaches people who have committed terrible crimes, but are developmentally children, even though they are physically very scary individuals. I was a long time. My second dad was a deputy sheriff that worked in our jail for many years, it's from that kind of information that I have come to some of my opinions about this. I agree that this is imperative both from a humanitarian standpoint, but also from a fiscal standpoint, and from a public safety standpoint. I think two of those have been talked a lot about, but there is, to me, one of the most important elements of saving dollars in our whole system, not just in our prison system, but our whole criminal justice, our whole societal system is by getting the mentally ill out of the jails and where they should be. Because we all know that that people in crisis because of mental illness end up getting warehoused in various places in the city, not only Cottage Hospital, but also our jail system. We save money by not having the jail be used as a dump ground for homeless. And all of these things are things that can be addressed through the recidivism reduction efforts that Measure S has in it. And of course, the place to save the most money in the long run is by preventing what Mr. Francisco called salvageable people from returning to prison. Now, it's a dictate of my faith that all people are salvageable, but unfortunately, some people do not choose to be salvageable. And so we also need to have the tools to be able to house those people who do not choose to change their path. But for those who do choose to do so, completion of a GED or some kind of education is the best indicator of success in staying out of trouble. We've had experts over and over indicate this, and if we do not have the resources in our prison system for addressing that, we are not saving money in the long run. So to me, this is a short-term investment of ½ cent that ends up saving us money in the long run in what kind of society we have. I also feel that it's well timed, happening at a time where people will actually feel a reduction of their sales tax. I thought that the funding formula was very thoughtful. And I guess the last reason I would advocate for people to support this is because we are about to face a great crisis. We are about to face a crisis where it has become more and more difficult to be able to fund adequate public safety. And it has become even more difficult because in all likelihood, the state will continue to force more and more prisoners upon local jurisdictions. And if we do not have the capacity to deal with that in any way, that means that the system will continue to erode. So I think it is very much a matter of crisis, and for that reason, I hope that we will support this as a body and urge the people of Santa Barbara to vote for Measure S.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank Sheriff Brown for taking the initiative on this and doing it in a strategic, thoughtful way, bringing in a broad approach of people, taking your time and plowing the ground and moving forward with an excellent effort. I think my colleagues have eloquently the case. This is one piece where the sheriff has created a strategic, plausible approach to gaining back some ground. So thank you for that, and I will be supporting the city's effort as well as yours.
Mr. Hodgekiss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We're talking about a reduction in tax, but in fact, the state may not reduce tax, and so our sales tax could be 9.25%. That's totally up in the air, and we're talking about a state that is running in the red now. So this is the Achilles heel of this, in my mind. Something that now costs you $9 could end up costing you $9.90. Without question, this is a compelling argument that you present, and that Mr. Francisco and the others with me have stated. But in consideration of the fact that of the state funds being unsecured really, and undetermined in 14 years where we would be left if there was no future funding, I'm wary and unwilling because of that open hole in a financially difficult time to go forward with this. All of the things you propose are fabulous. I just need to see another source of funding. I'm going to be the only person on the council that votes this way, so don't worry, you'll have council support. And part of me even wants it to succeed, but I'm very worried about the financial picture that we have